Hello and welcome to this free mini masterclass where we're going to talk today about how to buy and sell a business successfully. So all business owners start out with an idea, a mission or a value that they produce and package in the form of a product or a service to offer in return for payment to bring revenue into their business. However, an exit of your business is inevitable, so it is crucial to the success of your business for you to have a clear focus on your end goal. Now, every business has an enterprise value, and this in basic terms means how much the business is worth at any point in the business life cycle. So therefore, all business owners should have a strategy in place that drives up its enterprise value. Now, having this strategy will ensure that business owners reduce waste of time and money, ensure that the business goals that are set drive progress to increasing revenue and profit, and mitigating risks in the business operation to limit the losses and liabilities of its owners. Now, all business owners should develop an action plan to ensure a clear direction of travel with a clear goal to work towards their exit strategy. So let's look at the 4 stages to building an empire through buying businesses with an effective exit strategy in mind. So we're going to look at the 4-stage process. So I have developed a 4-stage process for all business owners to use to define and implement a strategy to build their own empires with a clear goal to maximise its enterprise value, with a clear exit strategy focus on its end goal. So in stage 1, we are going to define your exit strategy. In stage 2, we're going to build an empire with strategic focus to increase the enterprise value of the business and implement a strategy to buy other businesses. In stage 3, we're going to implement an effective exit strategy. And then in stage 4, we're going to go through the change management and transition to your next adventure. So let's start with stage 1. So what is your exit strategy? Now, in the first stage, you need to define your personal and business objectives, and it is never too late to do this. Even if you started your business years ago or you are just starting out now, you need to define your objectives, and as they may change and develop over time, you should be constantly reviewing your objectives as your circumstances change. Now, having a clear exit strategy will influence the decisions that you make during the business life cycle, which will make an exit smoother down the line. So, what are the potential outcomes of your exit? This will define the types of exit that you implement, and you will need to be mindful of this as you make business decisions as you move through the business life cycle. How can you exit? So get informed on the types of exit and how these can personally affect you. You will want to implement an exit strategy that allows you to limit your losses and post-ownership liabilities and allows you to maximise the return on your investment when you sell your business. Now, why did you start your business? What did you hope to achieve? What level did you hope to take your business to? Now, these can be personal goals as well as business goals, such as you want to create a legacy for your family or to live a certain lifestyle. And then when you have got the clarity on the what, the how and the why, you need to plan out your timeline to exit and create a set of actions that will allow you to achieve your goal. And we cover this in more detail in stage 2 and 3. So what are the potential outcomes of using an exit strategy? And these are the 5 most common potential outcomes for an exit. They are industry or regulatory changes, that you need a cash injection into the business or to another business venture, you need to relocate, that you want to start a new business venture, or simply a lifestyle change, which is the most common reason for exit. So let's look at these in more detail. So you may need to release cash for new or other business ventures. So you may want to try something new or need to the cash to inject into other business ventures. It could be that you're only selling a section of your trading activities, but will continue to operate other areas of the business. It could be that you need a cash injection for business growth, so you have reached the peak of your ability or cash reserves to input into the business to grow it. A buyer will assess a business for synergies, both financial and operational, to see where a merge of services could enhance the business and take it forward. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to step away from the business altogether, because a buyer may want to retain you in the business as a minority shareholder or a consultant. So you can continue to nurture the client relationships and the reputation that you have built. It could be that you need to relocate. So if your business is location specific, such as a restaurant, which is reliant on the premises and the local area it serves, and you cannot leave a management team in place to run it for you, then you may have no other option to exit the business if you need to relocate. It could be industry or regulatory changes. So it could be that the industry that you operate in has looming or has had increasing amounts of regulatory changes, and you are just not able to fulfill them or have the time to adapt or change to meet these new requirements where a buyer of your business could. It could be a lifestyle change, and this again is the most popular. So after many years of trading, you may have reached the point in your life where you are just ready to enjoy the fruits of your labour and retire. Or you may have created your business to fit around childcare or a particular lifestyle and are now ready to move on to something new. So let's look at how you can exit your business. So these are the 6 types of exit strategy. So liquidation or bankruptcy, and this is when the owner liquidates its assets and the proceeds go to repay creditors and the remainder gets divided amongst the shareholders or the business owner. There are no long-winded negotiations involved and no transfer of control. And it is never the intention of a business owner to go bankrupt, but a high percentage of businesses do. So you need to have this as a consideration in your exit strategy. It could be that you want to offer a management buyout. Now, this is a low-risk method of exit, as the management team already understand the full business operation and are already working on driving the business forward. This allows the seller to have no need to go to the open market and alert the competition that they are intending to sell. The management team may be able to access a variety of funding methods for this, such as personal funds, bank loans, private equity investment, or loan notes from the current owner. It could be that you want to do an initial public offering, and this is where a business that is privately owned, which may already issue stocks and have existing shareholders, offers shares to the public. This allows a company to raise capital from public investors on the stock exchange. The existing owners can benefit from a share premium on their current investment. But an IPO is a costly exercise and requires a lot of preparation in order to make the business ready to make the change from a private limited company to a public listed company. Now, it could be that you want to run a lifestyle company. And this is where a business owner operates a lifestyle company, which is where rather than investing money back into the business, the owner or majority shareholder pays themselves a large salary and cashes out large bonuses each year, but without putting a company into the red and then leaving nothing left to sell when they are ready to exit. It might be that you want to pass the business on to family members. So it is common for business owners to want to build a legacy to pass on to their children or retain the name and reputation of the company within the family. Family members are more likely to preserve the nature and ethics of the model that the business is built on compared to an outside buyer. And then mergers and acquisitions. Now, this is the most common exit strategy and the method that I teach my clients in the M&A Masterclass. So in brief, this is where part or all of a company is offered for sale to another company. The buyer will integrate or merge the clients of that company into their existing operation, or to bolt on the product and service lines that they do not currently offer. Now, identifying this as your exit strategy as early possible allows you to prepare and structure the business to be its most attractive to companies that are interested in buying you, and allows you to sell your business for its maximum value and use the money to fulfill your dreams. So why did you start your business? So I want to think about what type of entrepreneur you are and how this might impact the typical exit strategy that you might use. So are you the side hustler? Now, the side hustler often sets up a business to fit around childcare or other commitments. Now, they often feel that their business is a side hustle and isn't viable to scale up and sell. Now, are you the mission motivator? Now, the mission motivator often sets up their business with a clear mission or a cause to make a change. They are often concerned about reach and engagement in order to spread their voice far and wide. Or are you the change maker? Now, the change maker often sets up their business to do things differently, and very often from frustration from past experiences. They are often concerned that if they scale up, they will get too big, which will impact their core values. Or are you the savvy strategist? Now, they often set up their business with a clear strategy to take advantage of an opportunity or a niche in an unserved market. They are typically the most entrepreneurial and is in business to make money, lots of money. So let's look at which exit strategy you might use. Now, as these variables move and change, your exit strategy will also need to adapt. So let's look at the variables. The business life cycle, where you go from startup, growth, scale, maturity, and then past here, decline. Your strategic focus, so you go from early stage focus to scaling to building an empire. Your enterprise value, so what your business is worth, and therefore what your exit strategy is. So let's look at how these entrepreneurial types might indicate what type of exit strategy that you might use. So if you are the side hustler, then you're probably in your strategic focus, probably have less of a strategic focus on actually driving up your enterprise value. And you may be at an early stage of a business life cycle, so you're not quite at the scaling stage yet. So your exit strategy might be to liquidate, or that you're running your business as a lifestyle company. If you are the change maker, then your exit strategy might actually be to leave a legacy for your family. Because that way that mission that and the change that you've made and the legacy that you've created will stay within your family. It might be that you are the mission motivator. Now, the mission motivator is likely to choose a merger, because that way they can join forces with another voice in the industry that will enable them to strengthen their mission and achieve more success within that mission. And then the savvy strategist is more than likely going to offer their business as an exit strategy as an acquisition, or in extreme cases an IPO, because that way they can release their business, exit their business, get a return on their investment, and their strategic focus all the way through running the business is to drive up the enterprise value so that they can sell the business for its maximum value when they are ready to implement their exit strategy. So the startup and growth phase typically has one focus, which is organic growth. This is where you're growing a business using income generated from the existing business model and existing skills and resources to offer additional new products and services and or enter new markets. But what if there was another way? So I want to challenge the way that entrepreneurs think about their business. So I want you to consider a different strategy, and I need you to think outside of the box. So let's build empires, and now we're going into stage 2. So I want you to consider using inorganic growth strategies. So this is where you merge with or acquire a business for growth. growth. Now, this method usually allows the entrepreneur to enter new markets quickly with an experienced team and a tested, proven business model compared to organic growth. Now, 2/3 of UK business owners will sell their business in the next 5 to 10 years. So, a study recently identified that the average business owner sells their business after 8.7 years, and in the next 10 years, we will see a surge of baby boomer business owners selling their business and heading for retirement. So this presents a huge opportunity in the marketplace to consolidate market share and seek proven business model opportunities. So let's look at the difference between growth and scale. So growth is where you generate additional revenue organically by running the business day to day and adding additional resources such as more people, more marketing, or more premises to achieve more sales. Now, if you're looking at scaling a business, this is where you increase revenue but without needing to increase resources, such as by automating processes or changing from a one-to-one client offer to a one-to-many client offering, and on a larger scale, inorganic scaling or paid growth, which is by buying businesses to reduce competitor threat, enter new markets, add on new products and services, and acquire new talent. So the world's biggest empire builders use buying businesses as their primary scale-up strategy. So what should we be learning from the likes of Facebook, Google, and Amazon? So there are 4 types of mergers and acquisitions strategy. There is horizontal, which is where both companies have the same target market and offer the same or similar products or services. There is a vertical M&A strategy, which is where the buyer acquires a product or service provider in their supply chain. There is a concentric mergers and acquisition strategy, which is where both companies operate in the same market but offer different products and services. Then there is a conglomerate M&A strategy, which is both companies operate in different markets and offer different products. So let's look at some of the world's biggest empires and what they've done to achieve where they've achieved today. So Facebook have done 78 acquisitions, and that took them from a social media network to an international messaging hub. So some of the acquisitions that you may know of are Instagram, which is a virtual platform, WhatsApp, which you probably use day to day for messaging. But they also acquired other businesses that allowed them to expand how Facebook operates. So app building, the Facebook timeline, analytics, emojis and GIFs. These were all functions of Facebook that they were managed to add on because they acquired businesses that had that functionality. Amazon, they've done 89 acquisitions, which took them from an e-commerce platform to a media conglomerate, a digital marketer, and now a premises-based retailer. And similar to Facebook, they acquired businesses that gave them the functions and the operational strategies to be able to add artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, facial recognition, book publishing, e-learning. Some of the ones that you may know of are obviously video streaming and digital. You probably use Amazon Prime. They bought Ring for home security, and they recently acquired Whole Foods, so now they can actually have premises-based retailers to sell their stock, so they offer groceries. Now Google have done 225 acquisitions, and that took them from a search engine to a tech giant. Now again, they acquired businesses to help how their business operates and how Google functions. So they also bought artificial intelligence, they bought analytics, they bought software and cloud computing, travel and mapping, Google Maps, file sharing, photo sharing, cybersecurity, messaging. They also acquired businesses that weren't in their usual domain. So they bought Nest for home automation, so they could compete with Ring. They bought YouTube for audio and video streaming, and they bought Fitbit for their Google wearables, the Galaxy watches. So they were buying other businesses with a clear strategic focus at the forefront. So they were doing it for adding on new products and services, for improving production, for improving logistics, for improving the customer experience, to acquire new talent, and for diversifying in their markets. So I want you to consider buying a business to bolt onto your existing businesses, and I'm going to give you 6 reasons why entrepreneurs should buy an existing business as a scale-up strategy. Now, it could be that to acquire a proven and validated business and revenue model. So this is where the seller has done the initial hard work for you and created a proven business model that will provide you with an income from day one. If you are answerable to shareholders, then purchasing income will help you to hit your financial targets. The current owner will have set up operational systems, policies and procedures, and already made and learned from mistakes along the way. The second benefit of buying an existing business is that there is an established client base and brand. So it takes time and effort to build brand awareness and form relationships with your ideal client. And an existing business will have already established a past, present and future client base that you can develop and grow. Now, the third benefit is that there are existing teams in the business that know the business and the market. So when acquiring, you are not just buying the income and the value of the brand. If you carefully integrate the business to protect and retain the existing resources, you'll be able to build on the knowledge of the existing team, especially if a strong management team is in place. And the fourth benefit is to enter new markets and offer new products and services. So your existing business may have a gap or business development plan which requires you to enter a new market or offer additional new products and services. And by acquiring an existing business that already offers these or operates in an area that your business currently doesn't, you can enter this market quicker than if you were developing these products and services and trying to enter this market from scratch. The fifth reason is easier access to loans and financing. So with an established business, there is less chance of financial risk and the business is already performing, so it'll be easier for the entrepreneur to access loans or additional funding, as you can prove how the investor would get a return on their investment. Now, the sixth benefit is that they are easier to grow. So compared to a cold start, instead of using your initial time and energy to build a business, you can review the existing operational practices and grow and improve on the existing operations and benefit from synergies from merging the companies together. So what I need you to do is I want you to know your worth. So when you're moving towards an exit of your business and acquiring businesses, it involves a different mindset and a shift to working on the business rather than in the business. So firstly, you need to create a benchmark valuation so you continually benchmark test your progress as you move closer to your end goal. Your benchmark will be your enterprise value now. Now, valuing a business can be complicated and there are multiple ways to value a business dependent on its stage, type and the industry it operates in. So for our initial benchmark, we're going to do a very basic valuation. Now, the simplest method of valuing a business is where you take the gross annual turnover of the business and multiply it by a value, which is called a multiplier, to get your enterprise value. But how do you know what the current multiplier is for your industry? And the answer is simply research. So I would recommend that you create a spreadsheet and go onto online business selling websites and search for businesses similar to yours and make a note of the type of business, what is on offer, the turnover and the quoted purchase price. This will allow you to work out back what the multiplier is for each business for sale currently, as this will constantly fluctuate depending on the impact of changes in your industry. And then take an average of these multiples and use that to multiply against your annual turnover, and this will give you your current enterprise value now. However, your valuation will be impacted by the level of risk in your business. So stage 3, we're going to look at risks and exit strategies. So you need to create a set of goals with defined actions that will allow you to mitigate risks and reduce the chance of a buyer giving you a low offer for your business when you want to exit. Now, a buyer will split every business that they look at buying into 3 areas: legal, financial and operational, and they will send a subject matter expert, an SME, into your business to explore each of these 3 areas before they will complete on the purchase of your business. Now, each SME will identify risks in each area that they're investigating. The buyer will then carry out a trap analysis of each risk, which is to transfer, reduce, accept or prevent. So transfer, leave the risk with you. Reduce, ask you to indemnify them against the risk. Accept, so they're moved to completion aware of the risk. Or prevent by adding a mitigation action into the post-completion integration plan to prevent the risk from occurring. Your exit strategy action plan will therefore need to include actions across these 3 areas. And as you work on each action, you need to regularly revalue and test against your initial benchmark valuation so you can track the progress of your increase in value. This will allow you to continually review the plan, implement the next action, check your progress, and adjust any tasks that aren't helping you to achieve your goal. So enterprise value, so reducing risk and increasing revenue. So what are the 9 ways to increase and protect the valuation of your business? So are you really ready to truly get what you are worth when you sell your business? So number 1, get legally protected and compliant. So ensure your company is registered correctly, any intellectual property is registered and protected, and that you have operated compliantly within legal and regulatory guidelines. Secure your client base. So have your clients and customers signed contracts and agreed to the current terms and conditions, and do you store them adequately? Do you still have a copy of it? In particular, your largest and key clients. And then check your contracts. So review supplier contracts to see if there are any change of control clauses or long terms remaining in them. Review your client contracts and ensure relevant clauses are included, such as termination periods. So should you need to liquidate and wind up, is there a minimum term in there to give some protection over a guaranteed income to a buyer? And then undertake a financial health check. So clean up the balance sheet to show liquidity, pay off any supplier contracts if you can, chase any aged client arrears to prove to a buyer that you are not carrying a large amount of aged debt. Do your accounts reconcile? So do you have the money that your systems say that you should have? And then consider introducing recurring revenue streams. So because a business is worth more where there is a regular stream of income compared to a business that has to fight to get new sales every month. And then drive up performance. So set up KPIs, so key performance indicators, to prove historic records of performance and incentivize yourself and your team based on performance to increase revenue. And not just sales targets, but post-sale targets too, as repeat sales from a positive customer experience are really valuable. And then look at scale and automation. So review your customers' end-to-end journey and look for opportunities to standardize, add automations, scale your operations, or bolt on upsell opportunities to increase your turnover. Team build and delegate. So try to move working on the business rather than in the business, because a buyer will look at a business that is heavily reliant on the seller as a risk. And then buy another business. So consider buying another business. I know this is the most radical, but it's actually a lot easier than you think, and you get a much larger and faster increase in your enterprise value. So think back to the 6 benefits of buying an existing business that we just talked about. So when should you implement your exit strategy? Now, it is important to remember that there is a common misconception that business owners only exit their business when it is in trouble or when they are ready to move on to something new. But actually, 25% of all businesses that are sold in the UK every year sell when a seller strategically decides it's the best time to sell their business. And this could be when there are new opportunities come into the industry. So if a business owner has a clear overview of the industry that they operate in and they can foresee early potential opportunities for growth in the business, this could be an opportune time to sell. So when your systems and processes are operating effectively, so you've worked on your standard operating procedures and the business is operating with minimal risk in order to get the maximum return. And then when you have made yourself redundant, so this means that you have successfully moved to working on the business rather than in the business. So a new owner can pick up the reins without impacting the team and their client base. And then when you have achieved your strategic goal to increase your enterprise value. So be more savvy, so be a better strategist. And when you have worked really hard through stage 2 to know your worth and track your progress to ensure your enterprise value is elevated to its maximum level. So how to sell a business and how to buy a business too. So dependent on the reason you started your business and your intended outcome for the business that you mapped out in stage 1, this will usually lead you to decide on the right exit strategy method for you and your business. The business that you have built is an asset, so it is a mission of the Empire Project to encourage you to sell it instead of to shut it. And there are 6 stages to selling a business successfully using my dating system. And that is developing the deal team of internal and external advisors that will help you through the sale. Is to carry out an analysis of the business to prepare the information memorandum, which is essentially your pitch deck for the opportunity that you are offering. Target identification of ideal buyers that are aligned with your values. Implementing taking your business to market and putting your business up for sale, or if you're buying business, implementing your M&A strategy. Negotiating what is and isn't included in the sale and what warranties and indemnities will be required to give to a buyer of the business. And then getting to completion by understanding the due diligence process and the legal and financial points in the process that you need to agree to or overcome. So what is the outcome? You sell your business for its maximum value, getting a return on your investment, and can move on to your next adventure and fulfill your dreams. Now, stage 4 is the transition. So this can be an emotional and overwhelming time for a seller because you are preparing to step away from something that you have put your blood, sweat and tears into building and place it into another pair of hands without your control. In fact, it is often fear that hold business owners back from making an exit strategy in the first place. So it is really important to have a plan for your next act prepared. If you are going to retire, you might want to consider volunteering so that you can offer the benefit of your experience to help others. And this assists with an easier transition from full-time business owner into retirement and having a sense of purpose post-sale. You may want to consult with a wealth manager to plan out how to use the considerations for the money you receive from selling the business to ensure that the cash is used to its fullest potential. Then the next act. So if you have acquired a business, the ultimate success of the acquisition comes down to how successfully the integration of different cultures, systems, processes and procedures are managed using a heart-centered approach to managing change. The value of the business that has been acquired is within the teams and the clients. So having a plan in place to ensure these are secured and to reduce any loss is critical after a deal. So we work with our clients to ensure this phase is effectively implemented. So how should a buyer measure the success of an M&A deal? So you have successfully retained the team, you have successfully retained the clients, successfully created a new organisational culture, twos merging into one, you successfully met or exceeded the financial goals from the acquisition, you successfully increased your own enterprise value, and you successfully mitigated any risks that were identified in due diligence before you bought the business. So how can we help you? So I've got a proven track record of successful mergers and acquisitions and integrations at an executive level. And then I moved on to found the Empire Project. So over the past few years, I've supported entrepreneurs with their inorganic growth strategies by acquiring other businesses and helping business owners implement their exit strategies. So we carry out together the necessary due diligence, we assess the risks, we complete the deal, and we work with heart-centered change management integration processes. So I've acquired over 200 businesses worth over £250 million in deal value. So what I have experienced is all the common stresses, strains and pitfalls that clients face during the process of both buying and selling of businesses. So I've packaged that into different products and services that will support you as you build your empire and implement effective exit strategies. So if you're not sure where to start, why don't we plan your strategy. So I offer 90-minute strategy sessions where we can either define your mergers and acquisition strategy or your exit strategy if you want to sell your business. Now this includes a power hour analysis, deep dive into you and your business, and then we set a strategic action plan for you to implement. It also then includes a 30-minute follow-up accountability call. So where do you find out more? If you want to help to successfully buy and sell a business, head over to the Empire Project and look at our strategy sessions or our masterclasses for buyers and sellers. If you are a woman, we also have a female-owned business for sale marketplaces exclusively for women-owned businesses. And then you could also join our Empire Project membership, which operates a strategic system, which is based on building an empire. So evaluating your business at every stage, mitigating risks and maximising opportunities, introducing products and services and pricing, implementing an investment, so implementing a mergers and acquisition strategy, doing a roadmap review and refinement, and then enterprise values and your exit strategy. So thank you today for listening. I really hope to get in touch with you and get to know you more. So if you'd like to connect with me, you can book a free call with me now. So if you go onto the top of the website and book a free call, we can have a quick 30-minute chat on exactly how I can help you to buy and sell businesses. Thank you for listening.